Greetings everybody and welcome back to Apio Puzzles, and today I'm looking at a very quirky looking variant Sudoku puzzle. Just randomly was looking through the recent publications on Logic Masters Germany and saw this from GDC, a very well known and loved variant Sudoku setter, and I think this rule set might be one that they made up themselves. And it's really odd, and it's ranked 2 out of 5 for difficulty, which suggests fairly easy, but despite that there were some comments to the effect that that a few people were bewildered at first glance as to how to proceed, and then a few pennies dropped and away it went. So it could be interesting, and I like the idea of it. So I haven't done any analysis of. Often I'll look at the grid for a few minutes to think about it. I haven't looked at this at all, just so I know what the rules are. So yeah, let's explain them. So normal Sudoku rules are applying. So and FYI, there will be a link to this in the description if you want to give it a try, along with a link to GDC's list of puzzles. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box must contain the digits 1 to 9 once each. Now, the blue cell in the middle contains an even digit. I might put that in now, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Adjacent digits on a line must form a valid chess move by the indicated piece on a 3x3 numpad. So this sounds very strange. For example, a 1 on a knight line may only have the numbers 6 and 8 next to it, so 6, 1, 8, 1 would be valid. Now, what on earth does that mean? Well, we have a little example here. Where if this was a 1, it can jump by knight's move to 8 and 6. So they're the digits that can be alongside it on the line. And once you've gone to the 8, so you might have something like a 1 with a 6 and an 8 on either side. And this 8 can jump to either back to the 1 or down to the 3. So it would have to be followed by a 3 in this case, because we can't repeat the 1. The 3 in turn would have to go up to the 8, would cross to the 4, and so forth and so on. So that's how the lines that have a knight on them work. And we have a similar constraint with these bishop lines, and according to the example here, so this digit here is a 5, so a 5 can go to a 7, to a 9, to a 1, and to a 3. And if we imagine the 5 went to a 3, it can then go back to a 5 if the line allows it. So for example, this one looks like you could go 5 to a 3 and then back to a 5. But if they're all, so that's not a bishop line. This one is, so you could do that. But if they're all in the same box, for example, if this goes 5 to 3, the 3 can now only go back directly up left to the 7. And so we continue like that. So that's all there is. Oh no, there's also some dots. So these dots here are called crop key dots. The black ones, each of the numbers must be in a ratio of 1 to 2. That is to say that one of them is 2 times the other one. And these ones here are just consecutive. So if that's a 3, then this has to be a 2 or a 4. That's as simple as that. And I believe that's everything. So without further ado, I'm going to get cracking, and we already have an interesting starting point because we know that this number is even, and that might be relevant. So this is going to take some thinking. 2, 4, 6, and 8. So they can move to the odd digits. So they can never move to each other. So that's interesting already. So we know that they can't move to 5. So yeah, so if you go, so say you had a 2, it could go to a 7 or a 9, and then that in turn can go to a 4 or a 6 or however, but it's always an even, odd, but the 5 never gets reached. So these are 1, 3, 7, 9, and they in turn move to evens. This is nice, 2, 4, 6, and 8. This is 1, 3, 5, and 1, 3, 7, and 9. These are 2, 4, 6, and 8, and these are 1, 3, 7, and 9. Very nice. So it's going to be a 5 in there somewhere, and that will and then we just have the other evens. Okay, so I don't know if we can do more with that line just yet. I doubt it. Let's consider these. The way that black crop key dots work is they can only have certain digits. They can't have 5, 7, and 9 because 5 can't be doubled or halved. 7 half would, 7 would make, there we go. 7 would be 3.5 and 9 would be 4.5. So these have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. But when you've got 2 in a row like this, you're even more limited, because if you put a 3 on one to a 6, then this would have to go back to a 3, and because they're all in the same box, that's no good. So our 3 and 6 are not on there. So the way it turns out is you can go 1, 2, 4, or the other way around, 1, 2, 4. Or you can go 2, 4, 8, or the other way around, 2, 4, 8. So that is your options. Now, this digit here is on a night's line. I've got a consecutive one as well here. Is that? I'm not sure if that's relevant yet. So that could be either parity, so that may not be too useful. What is this one here? Yeah, this is interesting because of the example that I gave. So where you start from, this is cool. So, and actually I should have said more clearly at the outset that what we're looking at here is a computer numpad, or I guess a phone. I think maybe phones are different. Yeah, it's a computer numpad. Phones start up here, but so that, hence the premise is that we're dealing with this particular orientation of numbers. Now, this is interesting over here. We've got 3 cells, but if we started on an even, say 4, we'd have to go, the only way we can go is either to the 8 or to the 2. But let's say we go to the 8. No, sorry, I thought that was going to require me to go back to the 4, but it could go on to the 6. But what is relevant is that you can only ever move between the same parity. So if you're on an even, you'll always be going to an even, and if you're on an odd, you'll always be going back and forth through odds. So these are all the same parity, and they're odd. So parity is a word, just in case you're not familiar, that we use to describe either odds or evens, or low numbers or high numbers. In this case, odds and evens. And if these 3 were even, and we know these 2 are even, that would be 5 evens in the box, and there's only 4 evens to go around. There's only 2, 4, 6, and 8. So these must be odds, because there are 5 odds available to us. And the line just then continues. I probably should actually do color coding for this puzzle. In fact, I will, rather than do 7,000 pencil marks. I'll leave the 1, 3, 7, 9s just because I know they don't have 5s, but I will otherwise label odds as orange, the classic number. Kind of obscures the grey line a little bit, but it is the traditional color. That's also odd. This is odd. And then evens, I can't remember what evens are. Maybe they're blue. We'll make them blue. Why not? If I was Simon right now, I'd probably be breaking into song about what's that song? Why be true to a heart that's blue, or something like that. And that middle one, well, that's blue for even, so that's fine. Can I colour that myself just to reinforce it? Now, right, so that's all I know so far. So I'm going to have 1 more odd in here, and then 2 evens. Down here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 odds, so they're almost complete. This one, here, this is interesting. Yeah, this is great. So we've got 4 odds here, and this is a bishop line as well. So we can't have, and this has to always go from either between odds or evens, as per the previous example. So this can't all be odds, because then you have 7 billion odds in the column. So instead it is evens, and the whole line is even. This is great. now we know that the night line, actually just let me just have a look. So now we've got 4 evens along the top, so these must all be odds, which is nice. I was just thinking about this one, which we know alternates between odd and even. So yeah, so these, and that was from the initial example. So these 4 cells here are all either odd or even, but if they were even, this blue here would be the 5th even in the row, and there's only 4 evens, so they must be odd. And so this is really cool. This is so smooth. Right. Oh, hang on, but then we've got 5 evens in here. Oh no, sorry, this cell here is not even. Hang on, what am I saying? That's an odd. So I was worried for a second there, and I could have done these 2 before as well as odd, because we've got the 4 evens. Now we've got 5 odds down here, so the rest are even. And we've got 4 evens in this box, so that is odd. This is coming along very swimmingly. So we have 4 odds down here, 3 even, so there's an odd and an even here, and that the odd that is in here will make 5 odds. So this is even, but we could have seen that from the column, which only had 1 cell left to place. Are there any more immediate deductions? Yeah, we have all odds in here because the box already has 4 blues rather, and now we need 3 blues. Oops. So this is really coming along. This is great. This here, if there was no 1 here, this would be 2 evens, even, 5 evens, no good. This must be a 1. This is amazing. I'm loving this. 1, 2, 4 is forced, and this being an, well, let's complete our coloring. That's 2 evens. That is the 4th even, so these are odd. Where's my odd? Number 6. Across the central row now, we need to complete our evens, and there might be more there. There's no 2 in these because of this 2. This is a 4, 6, and 8 to complete the evens in the column. Now the nights line here, that has to remain on. Oh no, that alternates parity. So this has to be a 6 or an 8. It has to be even, and it's not 2 or 4. Let's do coloring. That one's also one of those, and this one is an odd. And we don't. Now in this column that I'm on here, we've only got odds left to place. So bang. This box now has 5 odds, so even. Now we have 4 evens in this row, so that's an orange. This is now even, and we're probably pretty close to figuring out. And this a white dot is always an odd and an even, because if you imagine, well, this one is even, so it's a 6 or an 8, and the digit next to a 6 or an 8 is always odd. So this will be a 5, 7, or 9. That will have implications for, and that is orange. Now our bishop's line, well, actually this was orange here, so we would have known already that these had to all be orange. According to our bishop's logic, we have 5 oranges across this row. Wow, this is incredibly smooth. I should have mentioned as well, it was rated 2 out of 5 for difficulty, and I think something like 97% satisfaction rate, and so far that's not surprising me at all. Yeah, just by all of the same logic that we've been using, we can now complete that column, or that row rather. This column is done, and that is finally, and that's all the coloring, just like that. And we, surprisingly, we haven't got many numbers, well, many drilled down numbers, but, well, actually, yeah, we knew the 1 could only go to 6 and 8, and the 6 and 8, 8 can go to 3, and 6 can go to 7. Actually, they can go back to 1 because we could put a repeated 1. That's a trick. So yeah, so we've got either 1, 3, or 7 there. Could have easily made a mistake there. Just quickly scan for, I don't think there's a huge amount of straight Sudoku to do just yet. So let's consider some things. Well, that's 2, 4, 6, and 8 in some order. Is there no, you could start at any point, couldn't you? But when you get to the end, so if I go 2, 4, 6, let's say I go 2, 4, 8, 6, at that point I'm going to have to keep going, because so if I go 2, 4, 6, and 8, I can't go back to the 6 because I've just put it here and I can't put it there. So I'd have to then go, well, let's do it as an example. If this was 2, 4, 6, and 8, then I have to go on to, sorry, no, 2, 4, 8, get this right. 2, 4, 8, 6. I can't go back to 8, so I've got to go on to 2, where I can't go back to 6, so I got on to 4. That's quite interesting, in that we now know that those two are always the same and those two are always the same, and that's relevant because that cell then becomes that digit. So I'll label that as purple. I don't know what number it is, although I do know that it's not 4. So it is a 2, 6, or an 8. That's very nice. There might be more I can do with that, I'm not quite sure. This one and this one being the same is not as relevant because it just means it's anywhere in there, which clearly isn't as useful. Now this purple is in there. Don't think that matters. Let's consider, well, yeah. Do we have a similar question around the way the odds navigate around? If this is a 2, 7, 6, 2, 9, 4. Yeah, like so 2. There is a interesting interplay. The evens that are opposite each other. If this was a 2. This could never be an 8 because you can't get to that cell in 2 moves. If you go to 7 or 9, you have to then go across to 4 or 6. So there's this kind of, so yeah, so if this is a 2, this is a 4 or a 6. If this is a 6, this is a 2 or an 8. Yeah, and so it doesn't actually restrict things very much. But then this one will be the opposite. So if this goes to 2, this has to be 4 or 6, and that will eventually lead back to the opposite digit here. That's really interesting. So if that's a 2, then this is an 8. If that's a 6, then this is a 4, and if this is an 8, this is a 2. Wow. Interesting. And there's probably some weird relationship. So 2 would put an 8 here. That would be a 2. And it would go 2, 4, 8, 6. So this is wild. So those two are the same digit, I'm pretty sure. The yellow is over here, so it's here. That's good. 2, 4, 8, and then across here. So then it's either there. Well, it is in there rather. It's in one of those two, and then it's in one of those. But we also know that it's in one of these now. which I'll label, but I don't know if it's that important. I wonder if this is exactly how I'm supposed to do it. I feel like it is. So yeah, well, I mean, this one is not this one. So in this box, it's that one. Yeah, there might be a more obvious way of doing this than what I've been doing. I'm not sure, but I'll call those red. Red is in there. That's not so useful, I don't think. Do we know anything about the value of red? Well, yeah, so if this was 2, as our example, it goes 2, 4, 6, or 6, 4. It doesn't, sorry, 2, 4, 8, or 2, 6, 8. It doesn't matter, this is always the 8, which is that one. That's the 4 or 6. Other of those, so yeah, 2, 2, 8, that's 4, 6, that's a 4, 6. And so, well, hang on, am I being silly here? Oh yeah, these two are just the same. Yeah, so this is these two are just the same because we've got we've got purple, yellow, and red. So this is another color, and we've got yellow, red, and purple. So this is the other color. So almost be interesting just to put placeholder digits to make it less color intense. So whether that does much either, it might not be. Oh, now hang on, these knights, I forgot the 5. The 5's never on a knight's move line, so we get a 5. That's our, no, it's not our first digit, but it's a digit, and it's much appreciated. And this colouring is now, so yeah, the 5 in here must be in there. Just by Sudoku, the 5 can be on those lines. It feels like, well, it has to be down. I know it doesn't have to be, but I feel like it probably is somewhere. So knight's move line, I don't think there's any more to consider with regard to 5s. Slightly surprising. What are we, 22 minutes? Yeah, those 3 as well, because because they're going to there. Let's say we started a 1, we can go to a 5 or a 9. Let's say we went to a 9. The only way to go there from there is a 5, and then we couldn't go. No, we couldn't go back to the 9, but we could go back. 5, 9. Assuming this one's not here, it doesn't really matter. Let's start from 3. So 3, 5, 7. 7 could go back to 3. No, it couldn't, because then 3 can't go back to. 3 has to go back to 5 or 7, but we just put those 3 digits in there. So this digit is not a 5, because whichever orientation we did that. Oh no, unless we go 3, 5, and then away down to 1. Because then we could go up to 9. No, we can't, because we can never, then we can't go back to 5 or 1. No, that's interesting. So it doesn't matter whether you go across the full diagonal or if you go 3, 5, 1, you end up with the same predicament. There might be a snazzier way of articulating that, but the point is that in the end, that's not a 5. Now, whether that's all that useful, I do not know, and somehow I doubt it. But there might be a more generic point to make then, that we've got to start from one of the corners. So this, that's really interesting. So let's say we start from the 3, and I've just said we can't go to a 5. So where are we going to go? We have to go to the 7, and where can you go from the 7? Only back to the 5. And so it doesn't matter what these two digits are, they're always leading back to a 5 in that position. That is amazing. And that's a 5 by Sudoku now, and that's a 5. So there's a 5 up here. There's a 5, oh no, hang on. There's a 5 in one of those two. There's a 5 in, well, that's not a 5 because it can't go to itself. So that's a 5. That's a 5. That's a 5. And I think that's all 5s. Oh, one at the top. There. Amazing. So now we're going to go to two digits, either 3, 7, or well, actually, yeah, either 3, 7 or 1, 9, and then then to the 5, and then we will have to do the other pair. That's amazing. So I don't know what the best way to do this is because it's going to get really annoying with the colors here. I'm going to use letters maybe. Let me turn on my letter tool. Oh, it's already on. Oh, that's right, it doesn't have a specific button. So I'm going to say that this is A, which is either 3, 7 or 1, 9, and the other set is B. Actually, no, I'm going to call it AB. In fact, I'm going to do this. Sorry. AB, just so I don't start thinking that they're the same digit. CD. So this is like 3, 7, 1, 9 or 1, 9. Sorry, 1. My mouse is lagging because of the software. The OBS software, that is. CD. So that's going to be useful, one imagines. Well, this is the other. So in fact, those two are the same. And now we might need to color. Or maybe now I do, since I've got some grounding in that, I might actually just call that, yeah, I'm going to just call that D, and that's C. And so, what can we do from there? There's D up here, obviously. Oh, well, this line, oh, that's not a 5 anymore. This I don't like about the pen tool. It kills your ability to use Control Z and the other shortcut keys. Hang on, yeah, I keep, yeah. Okay, I think I'm back in same town now. Okay, that doesn't fully resolve this. There must be a C in here, so it's in one of those. And there must be a C in here. It's in one of those. So if that's the 1, 1 goes opposite 9. Oh, this might be interesting. If that, well, if that was 1, this would be 9, and this would be 7. I was hoping that I could maybe eliminate 9 from here altogether. I don't think I can, because if that's a 9, it could just be the A or the B. I think. What do we do here? There's a D in here. Boom, boom, boom. Which probably is not very helpful. Let's get my letters off for a second. I'm a little bit stuck here. Actually, it's relevant. This line's relevant, of course. This digit is a 7 or a 9, so it goes to a 1 or a 3. Right, so so this must, I think this has to be AB, because it can't be CD. This is either a 7, 3, which is AB or CD, and it can't be, yeah, That's the point. This is one of the pairs, and it's not the CD pair, so it is AB, which is a bit annoying in terms of pencil marking. Again, I'm gonna say let's do this. These are A, B, and they're, well, I'll just leave it at that for a second. Do I take out the numbers? Kind of like them for some reason. But we've got the AB, so, oh, right, we've got AB now in the row, so this is C, so C is 1, and D is 9. This is wild. And then we end up with the 3 and the 7. This is going to do a lot. It doesn't actually resolve that one. It might be resolved another way in a second. This becomes the 3, 7, and it's placed. So that's not 7 or 9. We need a 1, 3 still. Now these are, well, one of them is D. I've forgotten what D was. A D was 9, so there's a 9 in there. Well, we can see from the box this is simply 9 and 7. So we get 1, 9 over 1, 3 over there. Now again, 1 would go to 9, right? Yeah, and then back to 5. So that's also yeah, it's also one of those pairs. I don't think that's immediately resolved. So we still need 7 and 9 over here. This is a 3. Hey, that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. I said. Now we have a 6 and an 8 here. The 3 is not there. That is a 1 or a 7. This is 1, 3, 7, 9. Now I'm just kind of pencil marking a little bit too much. And there's probably just, well, what about on these diagonals? The 1 could go to 6 and 8, and the 3 can go to 4 and 8. So there's always an 8 in there. There's always an 8 in there, and the 8 can, well, the 8's got the 1 and the 3 as options, so there's a 1 or a 3 in there. Oh, no, it's not a 1. Oh, that's great. So there's no 1 in here, and there is a 3 because it has to be gotten to from the 8. So there's no 3 over here. I'm probably doing this in some really circular way, and there's a 3 up there. And there's definitely a 1 in here, and the 1 has to go to a 6 or an 8, so there is a 6 or an 8 in there. I think there might be able to be both. Although, hang on, this is a 1 and a 3. So, wow, yeah, so the 3 goes to 4 or 8, the 1 goes to 6 or 8. Oh, I don't know if that quite resolves itself. So, I think does this 7, that can come from a 6. This is where I slow down. My thinking can get a bit, start to drag. Hang on. No, sorry. One of those is yellow. That's annoying. This one is in there, and then in there. Also, what about the colors of these? So they're red, purple, and black. These are red, purple, and black. I think I've probably missed. Hang on, what about this 5? That goes to 7 or 9. It'd be good to know what letter that is. I think, well, it could be either of those. I was thinking because it kind of like if that's a 7, that's a 1, and that's a 9, and those are the kind of the pairing of 1, 9. I don't know if that's somehow. All right, we've slowed right down. I apologize. With profusion, with profusity. I'm probably just missing an obvious connection between these lines. For some reason I suddenly thought this was going this direction as well, and that would be really forced, but that wouldn't actually be possible. This digit's definitely going to a 1 and definitely going to a 3. Does that mean it's just an 8? That's probably it, because that's exactly the well, if it's going to a 3 and 1 in this configuration, then it has to be an 8, but it doesn't have to be doing that. Gosh, Arama. Wow, the red getting a bit irritated now at myself. Okay, I'm going to meticulously check my lines here. This 5 can still go to a 7 or a 9 and then back to a 1 or a 3. This line, I think I've done about as much as I can, it feels. This line, the order of the odds across here might be, well, for example, there's no 4 there, so does that limit? Well, not really, because it could still be 3 or 9, because they can go to 2 or 8. If this was a 6, then it's going to be a 1 or a 7. That would create a 1-7 pair. That would be 9, that would be 7. That 6 would make this an 8. Yeah, interesting. Like, I found people talked about it being bewildering at the start. I think I got through to this point pretty efficiently, and now I'm finding it tricky. That digit there is in one of those, so it's not purple. Oh, there's a purple there, so well, purple is in one of those. No, this is not right. So that one of them goes to a 1. 1 can normally, by knight's move, go to 6 or 8. So there will be a 6 or an 8 in here. And then if the other one was 6 or 8, well, that works, because, hang on, 8 can only go to 1 and 3. So if there's an 8, it goes to the 1. And then you got 4 or a 6. 3, 9, 1, 7. So you can still go with 7 or 9. I was hopeful that wouldn't work. That would have to be an 8 maybe. That feels like there's something going on there. What about over here? Because I've knocked out a digit from here. Oh, that was from the 2, but I haven't got the same over here. So normally a 3 could be visited by a 4, but now, so if there is a 4 here, because the 8 would go to the 3, the 4 would have to go to its other digit, which would be a 9. 3, 9. These would be 1, 7. Oh, hang on. Good grief. Sudoku. There's no 9 here. Oh, that's it. Well, that's a thing. I'm getting annoyed by my mouse lagging here as well. That's very irritating. So 7 can go to 2 or 6. So there is a 2 or a 6 along with an 8, so there's no 4 there. So the 4 is either here or here, and that is yellow. So the 4 is in one of those two cells. and the 4's in one of the, oh well, that we know that because the 4's there. That's slightly annoying, but following from what I just did, do I know anything more? So the 1 I know is going to a 6 or an 8, and the 9 is going to a 2 or a 4. It's not going to a 2, so it is going to a 4. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So there's a 4 in one of those, and that kind of symmetry makes a bit of sense to me. Now we've got a 6, 8, which feels like it should be useful, but isn't obviously. 3, 7, 9. I think I'm. What about this cell now with the 1, 9 and the 3, 7? So 1 can go to 6 or 8, 9 can go to 2 or 4. That's fine, isn't it? And then they can go to either the 3 or the 7. Oh, there's something up here. This is a 2, 6 or 8, and this is a 2, 6 or 8. The 4 at the top's been placed because the 4's there and there. That's cool. So this is 2, 6, 8. Now, and there's definitely a 2 in there. Not that useful actually to note, I don't think, but 2 in there. These are 2, 4, and 6 because they can't be 8. That's not quite clarifying. There's definitely a 4 in there though, so this is 2, 6, or 8. And we know that about the 4. I don't know the colour of 4. I just know that it's not purple. I don't really want to go just rampantly pencil mark everything. It seems flagrant. This is a 2, 4, or 6. Well, I missed an obvious thing in there before, so let's just kind of have a look at that. It might be that I can't place 9 here for some reason. 9 would have to go next to 4 and 2. I think it's obviously incorrect. 4 and 2, that would make this a 6, 8. That would be a 2. That would be 4, 2. That would be 6, 8. That would be 6, 8. Yeah, okay, that works. Maybe 9 has to be there, is the other alternative. I do kind of think I'm missing something with this line. So if this is a 1, it's got to be flanked by 8 and 6. So that would be 8 and that would be 6. That would be forced to be a 2. 2 and 6 have a 7 between them. I feel like I must be missing something more trivial because this is only a 2-star puzzle and it shouldn't need a really, really tricky end game, I would have thought. This is a 1, 7. Oh, I know this is a 1, 7, or 9, but that doesn't contradict that. I don't think. Yeah, I think I did that logic before. It just means you can't go to a 4. No, you can't go to 4 because of the 4 down the bottom. Okay, so if that's a 1 and this is a 6, 8, you've then got 2, 4. And if this is a 3 going to 4 and 8, well, that would have helped. This, maybe once I resolved this and got to this point, I removed the 4 from there, that makes this a 1. Okay, so this is the breakthrough, I believe, that we've been waiting for. the 3, which has to go to 4 and 6, 4 and 8 rather, which makes this a 6. So 2, 8. That's not a 6. Now then, 6, 8. So we do get 2 and 4 in those two. And that's a 2, 4. Now, these always had to be the same, opposite each other. So this has to be an 8 and this has to be a 2. So that's a 2. That is yellow. That is yellow. That is not yellow. Let's do some color correction. There we go. So this, well, I don't think I know what that is just yet, but we will probably find out in half a second. Give it a second. This is a 4 or 6, and this is a 4 or 6. That might be resolved. That's an 8. That's a 4, 6. This, what's the direction here? Hang on, how's this working again? 2 has to be flanked by a 4 or 6, so that's an 8. And we've got 4, 6 and 8 to place. I've gone a bit rampant on the pencil marks. That's a 3. 3 goes to 7, 9. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So there's a 7, 3, 7 there, and a 1, 9 over here. And that's a 4. That's a 6, 8 pair. There's no 6 in there. 2, 4. Excuse my somewhat slow Sudoku. So we need a 4 and a 6 in there, and 1, 5. We still need 3, 7 and 9, which amazingly doesn't seem, well, the 8 has to go to 1 or 3. Oh, so it just goes to 3. That's easy. 7, 3. So 7 goes to 2, 2 goes to 9, 9 goes to 4, and we've got a 6 over here, 4, 6. And I'm just trusting my pencil marks now that this is all going to come together. 7 on that one goes to a 6, which makes that an 8, that a 4, that an 8, that a 6, that's going back on itself. That's a 9, and 6 and 8, and I'm flicking around like a bit of a nut at this point. They're not 3, 1, 7, 9. This is a 7, 9, that's a 7, 9. So this is a 1 and a 9. We still need 1, 3 and 7 in here. So 1 and 7 we can do by Sudoku. That's a 3. And 8, 4, 2, 6. That's not 6, that's a 4. We've got 2, 6 and 8, so that's an 8. This is a 2, 2, 6, which probably is resolved, but oh, it might be resolved. Well, we'll come back to it in a second. 2, 6 over here. There's a 1 in there. Oh, the 3, oh no, 3 goes to 4A, yeah, we know that. That's no surprise. I think it's probably Sudoku at this point. Or is it something more complicated than that? 5 can go to a 7 or 9, that's fine. Oh, there's no 7 there. 1, 9, I have missed that. That's a 7. So now it really does seem to come down to something to do with these lines. Oh, the central digit must be forced, right? 2 can go to 7 or 9, and 6 can go to 1 or 7. Checking the other lines briefly. So I think they're all done. So am I missing Sudoku, or is there a trick here? That seems a bit weird. Yellow was 2. I'm not going to be able to position that. So let's see. 3 goes to 4 and 8. So go 3, 4. 4 goes to 9. Maybe this ends up. So that would be a 1. The 8 would go to the 1. The 1 would have to go to the 6. But if this is 9, it goes to 2. See, what? Have I pencil marked something wrong? Is there a problem on this side? I don't think so. I think they're just all interchangeable. 6 goes to 7, with 8 going to 3. 6 here puts a 6 here. Maybe that's it. 6 would have to go to goes to a 7. I thought, yeah. So 6 goes to 7. That becomes a 6. And then that can't go to the same digit. That's weird. I'm surprised that it's going to work. Yeah, it works because of the lack of symmetry. So this forces a 6 into here. If that's a 6, that's forced to be a 6, and it breaks. But if this is a 6, it doesn't force this to be a 6. And so it works. So this is 6, this is 8. That is rad. GDC, legend and a half. And this will sort of resolve itself, I think, by Sudoku initially, and then probably there's just this final thing around which ones these go to. So 6 does go to 7, 8 goes to 3, and we should just then, that's an 8, that's a 4, 4 goes to 9, 8 goes to 1, 9 and 1. Hey! 63 minutes. No, it's not that long. 53 on the clock, minus my intro waffle. I guess I had the page loaded a bit earlier than that. Loved it. There should be some sort of like massive heart that you can click there. 162 solved in 3 days. And yeah, 2 out of 5. I would personally, in my standard, I would say maybe 3 out of 5 for difficulty. And obviously that's a 5 out of 5 for quality. That was wonderful. I think it's a really interesting puzzle from the point of view that it's a completely weird rule set that I've never seen before, and I'm assuming GDC came up with. And on the surface of it, it kind of seems like that's going to make life really tricky. And actually, it turns out to be a fairly straightforward coloring problem in the beginning, and then I think I missed a couple of I missed a Sudoku point, and I missed something about this, I think. And then that little bit of logic at the end there, I don't think you can solve it without thinking about that problem. So that, I mean, this puzzle has it all. That's wonderful. So 50 minutes about for me. That's pretty good. I'm proud of my performance there, and I hope if you're new to these things, you found that interesting and that I explained it adequately. For those who are unaware of the 3 in the corner business, that is a bit of folklore from Cracking the Cryptic, where Simon likes to, well, the two of them like to belt out 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion when they get the 3. Occasionally you get another 3 in that corner as well, and it's a jamboree. It's a jamboree for Vince Noir, for those Mighty Boosh fans. So thank you to GDC particularly for building a brilliant puzzle. That's classy. And yeah, I was just thinking about the inclusion of these Kropke dots, and really that's kind of, I think that's basically the source of the disambiguation of the particular numbers. If you didn't have that, you'd have this kind of grid of colors, and you could maybe narrow down some of the candidates, but you couldn't finally place specific numbers. That's really cool. Thanks, GDC. Thank you to everyone else for watching. Do feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more of this and what my dominant content is, which is cryptic crosswords. And I will see you all again for the next one.